Hey spinners, welcome back to Spin Cycle. On this week's episode, I'm taking one thing that I'm truly a fan of, vinyl records, and adding it with something else I'm a massive fan of, and that's video games. Welcome back to Spin Cycle. I am of course your host Tony Giles, TG, aka the Vinyl Ambassador. And as I mentioned up top today, we are covering not just vinyl records, but also video games, or in fact soundtracks to video games. And in fact, one series in particular, a series that has haunted my dreams, you could say, since its inception. I'm talking about the Castlevania series that made its debut on the Nintendo NES many moons ago. Castlevania is such an influential series that now we have the genre Metroidvania, which takes the style and play of Metroid, couples it with Castlevania, hey, Metroidvania. And it's not often you can get a whole new genre just from something that was created so long ago. Now, when I was a kid, I'll be honest, I was terrible at video games. I love playing them, but I was terrible at them. But there were certain games that kept me coming back for more and more and more. And the Castlevania series, in all of its iterations, was always one of them. And I wondered why that was. What is it about Castlevania? Is it the setting? Is it the kind of the horror, romantic, action-packed style of gameplay? Yes, it could be that. But when I realized it was actually the music that kept me coming back, that's when I became a firm favorite of all the soundtracks from the Castlevania series. And we are lucky enough to live in a golden age where 90% of the soundtracks for the Castlevania series are actually available or will soon be released on vinyl. I have quite a few of them here, so I'm going to go through them with you now. Okay, we'll kick off right at the start with Castlevania, released by our pals Mondo back in, when was this? I don't know, this was a few years ago now. And this version here, this was released exclusively at San Diego Comic-Con, if I believe. And what we've got here, this is artwork from Becky Cloonan. And it's 10-inch vinyl because the game itself is actually not very long and the score itself is not very long either. In fact, speedrunners are able to beat the game in, I think, a handful of minutes. But that does not stop the music being magical. No, you can hear these songs over and over and over and over and never get bored. Honestly, I have listened to this soundtrack for what, 30 plus years now? Never once been bored of it. Listened to the whole series just the other day. And this being the San Diego Comic-Con version, this was a limited edition vinyl variant on grey and red vinyl. There's side A and there's side B. And then hot on the heels of Castlevania, we had Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest, a game that differed from the original because it featured more puzzles and more backtracking, but still a ton of fun, and it retained that OG Castlevania look that I know sucked me in as a kid. Mondo once again did the honors by releasing this 10-inch version. And this version right here features artwork by Eric Powell, and I absolutely adore this. Gorgeous artwork. Killer werewolf on the back there. And I love that these come as gatefolds with the maps in the middle. It's just little things, but they are so cool. And what's cool about this version, not only do you get the NES score, soundtrack, whatever you want to call it, but you also get the Japanese Famicom version, which is the Japanese version of the Nintendo NES. And this, I believe, is what's called the day and night vinyl variant. As you can see there, you have the blue representing the night and the yellow representing the sun. Both of these versions sound good, but they are different and they are worth listening to. Again, not a massively long soundtrack, but definitely something to throw on if you're looking for a little bit of fun. Next up from Castlevania would be Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse, and this game returned more to the first game than the second game, but this time it introduced more playable characters. You could do different things and there were branching paths as well. Again, innovation from the Castlevania team, and once again we had an absolutely amazing soundtrack released on vinyl, once again by Mondo. And just look at this killer artwork. Sashin Teng, I believe, drew the art for this, and it is absolutely gorgeous. One of the nicest album covers I think I've ever seen, not just for a video game or a Castlevania score. No, this is just absolutely beautiful. And once again, this is a 2-disc set, and it includes the NES and the Famicom version, and this time we're actually jumping up to a 12-inch because the score was longer, the game was bigger. And there we go, there is disc 1. This is the NES version of Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse, which I believe originally debuted in 1989, so not long after the series actually started. And here we go, this is the Famicom version right here. Both well worth a listen because yes, they are similar and samey in places, but they're also different and exciting as well. So there you go, Castlevania 3 Dracula's Curse. And so there you have it, folks. A look at the first 3 entries into the Castlevania series. But wait, this episode isn't done yet because Castlevania's popularity would be so huge that it would actually have its own spin-off series as well. Primarily, Kid Dracula. And this is a, I don't know what you want to call it, a cutesy version, a cutesy platforming action horror vampire type game. This essentially is where you play Kid Dracula and you're running around a castle and you're fighting bats and this, that and the other, and it's a ton of fun. And this was composed by basically the team behind Castlevania, the Konami Kukiha Club. I believe I am pronouncing that right, but if I'm not, apologies. They composed the essential classics of the Castlevania series, and this was actually released by Ship to Shore Phonoco and includes this pretty cool poster. Now, I actually have played Kid Dracula. You can play this now on one of the Castlevania compilations that are out there, and it is a ton of fun. It's just not to be taken seriously. I don't believe it in any way ties into the mainline Castlevania series, but who's against some fun? I mean, look at this little guy. How can you tell me you don't want a copy of this? It's super, super fun. And if you're a fan of the Castlevania series, I highly, highly recommend it. But that's it, folks, for part 1 of this look at the Castlevania on vinyl series. We'll be back with part 2 very soon, where I'll pick up with Super Castlevania 4, the first time Castlevania made its debut on the Super Nintendo. Remember, guys, you can always find me on the Memphis Record Pressing YouTube channel, Saturdays at 6. And when you think vinyl, think Memphis.